Welcome back, boosters. I'm Lupine Fiasco. This is Daily Dash Gameplay, and we're going to cap the week with a game against Sir Boltyn. For anyone who is new to the channel, welcome to the Industrial Revolution. What we do here is review replays of games that I played on the Talishar client days or weeks ago, after enough time has passed that I lose my bias and can more objectively judge the quality of my play. I will talk through turn cycles and give you my thoughts on the lines I would take now, then compare that to what I did at the time of recording. We either learn from my mistakes or reinforce good play patterns with the overall goal of tightening and optimizing our gameplay in the future, to take down paper events like ProQuests or Road to Nationals, and most importantly, walk away with that shiny, shiny cardboard. If you would like to check out the list I'm playing here or try it for yourself on Talishar, the FaB deck link is available in the video description below. While you're down there, if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to me on YouTube. A YouTube subscription is the best free way to support me and to make sure you see Daily Dash Gameplay in your video feed 5 days a week. For those who want to go above and beyond, the best paid way to support me is through Patreon, and a Patreon link is also in the video description. A Patreon subscription will get you access to the Daily FaB Gameplay Discord. Your name could appear in every Daily Dash Gameplay video. You could get bonus content every week, and there are even more great benefits to come. Daily Dash Gameplay will always be free 5 days a week, so for those who can go above and beyond to support me, I truly appreciate it. Let's talk about our sideboard and our game plan. Having won the die roll against Boltyn, we will be choosing to go first. If we knew for a fact that Boltyn was on Raiden here, we would choose to go second and play this like any other aggro mirror. But with Boltyn's trending towards Saber's combo against aggro decks like Dash, we are choosing to go first. We deny him the opportunity to filter his hand early, to start stacking his soul early, and we put ourselves in a position to set up to kill Boltyn. The very worst case, we are loading our pistol and our induction chamber, putting a card in arsenal and passing the turn. At best, we are playing an item. So we are going to choose to go first, if for no other reason than to deny Boltyn resources. We aren't going to change any of the cards in our deck. We don't need Viziertronic for this matchup. I might consider playing Payload in this matchup as a way to push a little extra damage through Boltyn's blocks. The nature of the combo deck is that he will be blocking until he finds the combo, at which point he will take a lot of damage. But that gameplay cycle makes me think that Payload is a bad card. We just want boosts and the payoffs for boosting, namely Pulse Wave Harpoon, Big Shot, Maximum Velocity, and High Octane. So I think keeping the list as it is here is the ideal setup. Teklo Pounder could be a good choice against combo Boltyn as it helps us race the combo. I don't like it because outside of a few key cards in Boltyn's deck, he has no problem blocking everything. And all of his cards block for at least 3, if not 4. So if we run Double Pounder, we put ourselves in a position where we need to draw very well in order to push through 12 points of block value from hand every turn. And if we can't, we just fatigue ourselves. Induction Chamber is a bit of protection against fatigue. It's going to let us push damage while keeping cards in deck, which I do feel is important. If Boltyn can't find his combo quickly enough, he could easily just switch to blocking everything and try to win the game that way. Outside of that, we are pushing for big damage. We are trying to set up Maximum Velocity, Big Shot, and High Octane turns. If Pulse Wave Harpoon can grab combo pieces from Boltyn's hand, that is great. But ultimately, we are trying to deal more damage to Boltyn than he can survive before he finds the combo. So with all that in mind, let's jump into the game and see how it all shakes out. Starting with our chamber and our plating, the hand that we draw into is fine. It isn't great. We don't get to high roll an item on turn 1, but we do get to load our pistol and our chamber. It may be worth it here to pitch maximum velocity to the bottom of the deck. Max V and High Octane are two very strong cards that don't necessarily work well together. High Octane replaces itself but does take a resource to do so, and depending on the cards we are boosting to get up to Max V, we may not be able to utilize our extra action points. That said, without more knowledge of how Dash should be playing in these sorts of situations, I see 2 power cards, I want to keep them. So we are going to pitch a blue to load our pistol and our chamber. Then we're going to pass. We will arsenal this Max V, keep a blue and a High Octane, and see what we draw into next. Boltyn here, throwing some attacks. We have no intention of blocking any of this. We need to go on the full offense here and maximize our damage against Boltyn. We don't care about blocking anything that he is doing to us. So with the hand we have here, I am interested in playing this High Octane, pitching our zipper hit to do so, and we can see what this turn looks like once we draw our card. Drawing into another blue here is the best case scenario. We can't Max V off this hand, but we can set up a very good High Octane turn. We have 6 resources available between our 2 floating, our blue in hand, and our Foundry Heart. Throttle plus zipper hit will take 3 of those resources. With our 3 remaining resources and our 3 action points, we can get 8 damage out of our pistol and our chamber. So we'll just play this out. As far as where we want to activate the Foundry Heart, I don't know that it particularly matters. I'm going to do it after the zipper hit, which is going to let us throttle into gun into breaking the chain. But we push a little damage before Boltyn has the opportunity to block more with armor. That isn't what we do here. Like I said, it doesn't matter. At least not at this stage in the game. There may come a time where we are forcing Boltyn to block with armor, say on a T-bone, and we don't want to let him block more with that same piece of armor. The only piece of armor we really care about sniping out from Boltyn is Courage of Bladehold. He is unlikely to block with it multiple times in a turn. He wants to keep it around. So we do push our damage and strip Boltyn's hand, come back to our turn. With our Twin Drive and our Throttle, we do have the ability to fire off Max V this turn. We have 5 resources in hand. We have our Foundry Heart to get us our 6th resource. Let's just play this out. I don't have much consideration for Spark here. Spark would really just find Teklo Core, and if we fire off this hand to play Spark, we can't use the card that Spark draws us for having boosted, and with a Twin Drive and a red Throttle, I would like to just push a lot of damage this turn. There's no real reason that I can see to continue delaying this Max V. So let's just Throttle, Foundry Heart, Twin Drive, Max V. We'll push a lot of damage. This is dealing 21. If we get Boltyn's entire hand, then we are likely also pushing 9 points of damage. Boltyn just has 1 card in his soul. Without Spirit of Irina on the field, there is absolutely no chance that he can combo us right now. So if we continue to strip his hand while leaking damage over the top, we're in a great position to just win a game. Keep him on the back foot, keep him playing defense. And of course, we only have 2 High Octanes left in our deck, 2 Max Vs. So it is unlikely that we can keep chaining these big turns together. But right now, we're in a really strong position. The hand we draw into is kind of unable to do much. We could pitch our zipper hit to play this high octane. We can pitch our big shot to play this high octane. Our 0 to 60 will, of course, give us an extra action point, which, if nothing else, would let us gun with just a zipper hit. I think what I'd like to do with this hand, though, is Arsenal High Octane and clear out these other 2 cards. So we'll play our 0 to 60 and boost it. We can then pitch our zipper hit to Foundry Heart to generate our 3 resources to play Big Shot. It's a 3-card 10, which is slightly above rate, nothing incredible, but we are still pushing a decent amount of damage against Boltyn and putting a high octane into our arsenal to set up for a nice turn next turn. Boltyn with a nice soul shield prevents the damage, buffs up the soul. He pitches a Beacon of Victory to do so, which makes me think that he may be sitting on a combo piece. We've seen 2 from him so far. Command and Conquer threatening our high octane. We of course have another one in hand. We have our Crown of Providence, so we could save this high octane in Arsenal by cycling it to the bottom of our deck. But looking at our Teklo Core and our Teklo Pounder, I'm more interested in blocking with Expedite and High Octane from hand. On our turn, we pitch Core to load Pistol and play Pounder, which saves our Crown of Providence and also sets us up for a bigger High Octane turn now that we have Pounder online. I'd be interested to hear from other Dash players if you just crown the High Octane away and look to set up a 5-card High Octane turn with all those blues in our hand. We see that the card we would have drawn is Maximum Velocity, which would have been terrible, but we shouldn't be results oriented. On average, is Crown giving us a big turn there, or are we better off blocking with one of our High Octanes, our last High Octane in fact, to set up a Pounder? This Beaming Bravado is just damage. We don't care about blocking it. We are happy to take this damage. We have plenty of life to give. Knowing that Boltyn runs Command and Conquers in the deck, we would rather have cards left to protect this High Octane in Arsenal. Looking at our Max V in hand, we don't really want to block with it or cycle it away with Crown, but we can't play it here. We're going to set it into Arsenal. So I want to play this High Octane, pitching our zipper hit. We have our 2 T-bones that will give us 3 action points. If we draw a blue from the High Octane, we're in a really great position to utilize this High Octane, and we do. So looking at T-bone, it's going to give us 3 action points. We have 4 resources. We can Foundry Heart into a 5th, which will let us gun, chamber, gun. As far as which T-bone we want to play, I am interested in leading with the yellow T-bone. That is going to get it up to 4 power, which means that Boltyn is either going to overblock by giving us a 2-block piece of armor and a 3-block from hand, or he's going to take 2 by blocking this 4-power T-bone with 2-power armor, or he'll just block with 2 pieces of armor, and second T-bone becomes much better. Now, second T-bone for 3 puts Boltyn in the same position. He cannot cleanly block this damage with 1 piece of armor, so he's either going to take damage or give us additional resources. It is worth noting here that we could play this Max V this turn. We could play this Data Link, boost it, then use our Foundry Heart to get up to 2 resources and play Max V. But what does that do for us? If both of these attacks hit, it puts Boltyn to 8. Plasma Pistol puts him to 6, and then he still has armor and cards in hand, and we have just burned a lot of resources for a suboptimal turn, so I don't like doing that when we already have our high octane effect going. We're going to push a lot of damage with the pistol, and we get to set a max V in Arsenal. So again, we have 3 action points. We have 5 total resources available. We can load our chamber, then shoot off our gun 4 times. We'll see if that's what I'm going to do. I can also just fire off the gun. Oh, look at that. We didn't even need to Foundry Heart. Gun is going to deal a significant amount of damage to Boltyn. We will put our max V into Arsenal, and we draw into a hand that can play it. Snatch for 4 does nothing. Boltyn is not running Snapdragon Scalers. He has not charged this turn for Courageous Steel Hand. If he wanted to play Beacon of Victory to buff up the Snatch, it would take both of his cards from Soul to give it go again, and the +1 power. So with him having cards in hand and a card in Arsenal and no way to give go again, we just take 4. As far as our turn, we are going to lead with the same T-Bone for 4. Our Throttle or our 0 to 60 get boosted up to 6 with the Teclo Pounder. That's a clean 2-card block from Boltyn's hand. Let's instead make it awkward for him. He's either going to give us armor that will break to temper, or he is going to leak a point of damage. 0 to 60, unfortunately getting hit with a defense reaction. We'll see if the same thing happens to Throttle. Boltyn takes the damage. We Foundry Heart for our max V. Boltyn uses his Radiant Feet to prevent 2 points of damage, banishing a card from Soul. At this point, I believe he is fully off of the combo plan. Seeing that we have 4 cards in hand and 18 cards left in our deck to his 40 cards in deck, he can just fatigue us if he blocks everything. So the onus is on us to properly utilize our Plasma Pistol and our Induction Chamber to get those extra few points of damage to kill him. Looking at what we have in hand as well as our Teclo Pounder, we can pitch our Sprocket Rocket to play out Throttle, T-Bone, 0 to 60, and shoot off a pistol shot. We're pushing a total of 14 damage this turn. Boltyn can do a decent amount of blocking. We'll see how committed he is to blocking these breakpoints. What are we going to attack with first to get the Pounder buff? I believe T-Bone is fine. Throttle is still a clean block with 2 cards from hand. 0 to 60 and T-Bone are both a clean block with a card from hand and the front half of Courage of Bladehold. Boltyn instead, taking 3 down to 5. We will follow up with Zipper Hit, banishing our last max V. If we had been keeping a closer eye on our cards in deck as well as the turn counter, we could have known that we would have that max V coming back up. I'm a FaB player. I'm not familiar with counting the cards left in my deck. It's something I absolutely need to work on, as even in these faster matchups with Dash, we still do get to the bottom of our deck if we are boosting enough and if our opponent is blocking. At this point, with Spark of Genius in hand, we are just confirming that there is a Teclo core left in our deck. There is. So what we can do here is cash in the Crown of Providence to get our 5th card in hand. We have Twin Drive and Zipper Hit, which both present breakpoints. Spark of Genius will replace itself, likely with a blue. That will be another 4 points of damage from the plasma pistol. And we have our boots to generate the action point to keep our turn going. So all we'll do here is cash in Crown, see what we draw into off of her arsenal, and see if we can put a win together. We can lead with our T-Bone here. Boltyn will either give a card from hand to overblock, give us 2 pieces of armor, which is nice, or take 1 point of damage, which makes any pistol shot lethal. Once the T-Bone has boosted, we'll play our Spark to get our Teklo Core. More importantly, we replace the Spark with something else. Here, a blue will break our boots. And with the cards we have available, we can Twin Drive for 5, Zipper Hit for 4, to be a total of 9. We will have 3 resources available. We can play Zipper Hit, boost it, then we can Foundry Heart to Pistol, Chamber, Pistol. Overall, we are pushing 16 damage this turn. Boltyn very likely only has 13 available unless this card in Arsenal is a defense reaction, and based on Boltyn not using it last turn to prevent damage, makes me think that it is not. Only boosting 1 card off of Twin Drive, we certainly don't need to fatigue ourselves faster than we are doing now. Boltyn needs to give us 2 cards from hand to prevent lethal. We'll likely either take 1 by blocking for 3, or we'll use the Courage of Bladehold to full block. Either way, unless this is a defense reaction in Boltyn's arsenal, our pistol is going to take the win. And we can see that is what happens. Very close game. We were very close to fatiguing ourselves. Boltyn could have just continued to block out. I believe that we drew very well throughout this game, but certainly at the start, setting up 2 very nice max V turns, setting up a great high octane turn, put us in a good position to win. We can see that we threatened 15 value per turn cycle. It's just very good. Our average damage threatened per offensive card was well over 3, closer to 4, which is very above rate. We just drew well, things went well for us, but I feel that we did properly utilize our available resources. But had we drawn worse, this game could have gone much more poorly for us. Boltyn is a tough matchup for an aggro deck when he is gaining life from his combo, and Dash does not have much disruption to prevent Boltyn from doing so. We have Pulse Wave Harpoon, but for the most part, we are just dealing as much damage as we can and hoping that we are faster than Boltyn's ability to draw the combo. I hope you enjoyed this game. I hope you learned something. If so, zipper hit that like button. My comments are always open for questions or feedback. I will be back next week with more daily Dash gameplay. Heavy hitter spoilers will be done by this weekend. I could very well get back on FaB, jump into the open play queue for some heavy hitters testing. Let me know if that's what you want to see. I did promise you Dash gameplay up until the release of heavy hitters in February, which would give you another couple weeks of Dash. I know that I could use the help on a different hero. It'd be great to expand my horizons, but we have new cards. There's new stuff to test. We certainly don't need to wait until February. So let me know in the comments what you'd like to see more of. I will be back next week with Dash, but I'm perfectly happy to pivot back to FaB if that's what the majority wants. So I'll see you all next week, and until then, take care.